Chrystia Freeland, the Wicked Witch of the WEF, is heckled once again in public, all on the upcoming budget that's headed our way. We're going to dip into a little bit of what she's had to say and get into everything to expect in the upcoming budget. Let's get into it.
Oh, yeah!
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to The Fringe. Just wanted to give a huge shout out to everybody who left their kind comments on yesterday's video in regards to my niece's cancer surgery, and I want to thank you all for reaching out, for everything everyone's done. But let's get into what's happening today with Chrystia Freeland. The budget's on its way out today, and of course, keep your eyes peeled on the channel. I'm going to have a video talking about the budget and everything coming from the budget, hopefully later on today once we get all the facts as to, well, how detrimentally bad it is. And let's be honest, we know it's going to be bad. Now, again, I'm filming this video before the news of the budget drops, so I should have an update video later on today for you guys in regards to that matter. Now, if you're in Canada, before we get to Chrystia Freeland, yesterday was National Carbon Tax Credit Day. If you are one of the folks, one of the 8 out of 10 Canadians, according to Justin Trudeau, who was getting a, I guess you could say a gift from the government of the money you've paid out back in terms of what you should be receiving to offset Justin Trudeau's carbon tax. Well, I did a survey on the channel. I did a poll, and of course, more than 8 out of 10 Canadians had told me they hadn't received their carbon tax rebate. And again, some people said there was a catch. You had to file your taxes before March. I know there's a lot of people saying they're not filing their taxes this year out of protest for the ruthless spending of Justin Trudeau to stop giving them your money. Not sure where I stand on that line, but I just wanted to point this out just again to be clear. While Justin Trudeau says that 8 out of 10 Canadians should be getting a rebate, and what the carbon tax actually does for people. Then we're going to get on to Chrystia Freeland because that plays a little bit of a part into what we're getting into.
Last week, the Prime Minister increased the carbon tax by 23%, driving up the cost of gas, groceries, and home heating. But on Tuesday, the Liberal Environment Chair revealed there is no proof the carbon tax reduces emissions. Quote, there is no data specifically stating the price on carbon resulted in an X amount of reduction in greenhouse gas emissions, end quote.
There is no data specifically stating that the price on carbon resulted in an X amount of reduction in greenhouse gas emissions, and I don't even think that's possible, quite frankly.
Hold on a minute. Didn't Justin Trudeau say that that was misinformation from the Conservatives and Pierre Poilievre? But there's video. There's video of that. Hold on, let's take that in again.
Now that the carbon tax scam has been exposed by a Liberal, will the Prime Minister finally axe the tax?
The Honourable Minister for Energy and for Natural Resources and Energy.
On this side of the House, we're focused on making life more affordable for Canadians, but also on fighting climate change. The PBO and 200 economists across this country have been very clear. 8 out of 10 Canadian families get more money back. It works disproportionate to income. Even the Conservatives actually used to know this before they got collective amnesia. Every one of the members on that side of the House ran in 2021 on a promise to put in place carbon pollution. The hypocrisy that comes from that side of the House is unbelievable.
There is no data specifically stating that the price on carbon resulted in an X amount of reduction in greenhouse gas emissions, and I don't even think that's possible, quite frankly.
Well, I guess we're known for spreading misinformation on this channel because I don't know where that video came from. Maybe it's AI. I don't know, Justin Trudeau. I can tell you one thing. This household did not see any kind of a rebate, and I'm sure many, many others did not. Now, on to Chrystia Freeland because, boy, she's getting abused and well worthy of it, and she does get heckled kind of twice. Now, the first clip I want to show you is from Andrew Lawton during the conferences in Davos. There's word going around that Klaus Schwab, the cotton Schwab, is in fact has been hospitalized. And while many are celebrating that, I'm waiting until there's a little bit more information before we talk about that on the channel. I'm sure Chrystia Freeland will have something to say about it because, well, we all know her ties to the World Economic Forum as she's the Wicked Witch of the WEF. But let's hear what Andrew Lawton had to say, and then we're going to get to her getting trolled and some questions I have about her behavior and the ridiculousness of her policies. But let's take a look at what Andrew Lawton had to say.
Hi, Minister. Andrew Lawton, True North. I was just wondering if it's a conflict of interest for you to be a trustee while also a cabinet minister. Are you proud of the work? And if so, why is there an issue answering a question about it? Enjoy your panel, Minister.
No comment. Andrew Lawton's lucky he didn't get arrested asking her such a question. Where were her RCMP guards? That's that's my question. Now, I want to get into this comment from Freeland because this is what's coming up on the budget. And again, the budget is going to be dropped today, and I got my concerns. I'm just going to say I've got my concerns. We'll wait until it's fully dropped before we talk about it. But in regards to things going on with other provinces, I wanted to point out this clip because what they've introduced in the last week is completely appalling to Canadians. We talked about it on Friday night's live stream, Friday Night Fringe. If you haven't joined us on those live streams, by the way, you should every Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central here on the channel where we go over things like this. And I get to chat with you guys outside of making videos, and it's always a great time. Always good to see new people there, and I look forward to that very, very much. But it says here from Wide Awake Media, watch Chrystia Freeland's mannerisms and body language closely. Why is she so twitchy and fidgety? Is she on illegal substances? Now, I have to use those words because I just got out of YouTube jail. This has nothing to do with finances, folks. If we want these videos to get out, I have to watch what I say. So please be mindful of that. But let's take a look. Watch the mannerisms and body language. But it's important to hear what's being asked of her as well.
Back to the healthcare meeting next week. Did you present any specifics of what your government is prepared to offer to the premiers? And can you just give us a sense, how close are you on the numbers? Do you think it's feasible to get to $27 billion increase and a 5% increase thereafter? Can you give us a sense of whether this is at all possible for your government?
I did not present anything specific. We're all going to leave that to the Prime Minister and First Ministers.
Okay, can you just answer though whether you think it's feasible for your government to spend the kind of money that the premiers have long been asking for? It's very public what they have been demanding, and they keep reiterating it. So is this going to happen or not?
Well, as I said, I didn't present anything specific to the provincial and territorial finance ministers, and I do not intend to present anything specific to Canadians right now. I did think it was useful for me to be open and transparent about the fiscal constraints that the federal government does face and the other very big investment pressure in building a clean economy for the 21st century, which is something that I think the provinces and territories have as great an interest as the federal government does in getting done. So it was important to share that. And then, look, the final thing that I will say about healthcare, where I think everyone around the table agreed, because ultimately we represent the same Canadians, is what I think Canadians really care about is having access to a great, publicly funded, universally accessible healthcare system from coast to coast to coast.
So the body language says enough. Now, of course, we can take from this video the clip that Freeland essentially dodging again because we know the budget's coming out. We know new taxes are going to come out. People have said no new named taxes, but increased in taxes. That's why she's not answering the questions here. But what's more important is the twitchiness. Now, I've often said I didn't know enough about Chrystia Freeland to say that maybe it's a tick, maybe it's something that's going on, that a lot of people like to poke and prod at the idea of it being drugs. Maybe this has to do with her $7,000 a month that goes towards day spa treatments, but most importantly, personal trainers and gym memberships. Maybe she's at the gym trying to work out her issues that take away that twitch. Of course, we can see here, she looks like she just came from the gym. And
Are you part of the world?
Heckled. I apologize for the audio cutting. And this is one thing I hate about Twitter. You just hover over the video and it starts playing. But she clearly looks like she just came from her personal workout, sitting here on this park bench where, look, I got to hand it to her. She keeps her composure. She acts very proper for somebody being heckled. Better than Justin Trudeau. I will give her that. I'll give points where it's necessary. However, it must be very hard being Chrystia Freeland. Look at the size of her legs when she's sitting. I don't want to be mean. Listen, I'm not the most fit guy on the planet, but does this look like a woman who spends $7,000 a month on personal trainers? Let's just listen to what happens here.
Are you part of the world EF? WEF? Are you part of the WEF, Christina? Are you part of the World Economic Forum? Part of the deep state?
I hope you have a nice day.
Well, you won't have a nice day. See ya, Gitmo. Bye-bye. Are you part?
See it, Gitmo. I mean, that's great. But again, what I'm questioning with Chrystia Freeland, now again, it's very obvious by this photo. She's not going to the gym. Let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen. She says that she walks everywhere in Toronto. Either those are the most muscular legs I've ever seen in my life, or she's full of it. And I'm going to take the full of it route on that one. What's important to notice about Chrystia Freeland with her twitching, though, and one thing that I do want to point out, is that she's been around for quite some time. Now, she used to be a regular host, or guest, I should say, on Bill Maher. This is a clip from 9 years ago that Amazing Zoltan, friend of the channel, put up. Shout outs to him. I am going to mute the audio because I know how some of these shows like to claim copyright anytime you play audio, but just take a look at her body language when she's talking here. You don't see the twitchiness from her. You don't see, even when Bill Maher's talking, you don't see her usual ippity jumpity mannerisms that you see when she's talking now. So what's changed in the last 9 years that's got Chrystia Freeland to the point where she's skipping about, where she can't stand still, where she's twitching everywhere? She seems pretty normal back when she was quoted as a journalist or an author before taking on the job as Herr Freeland with the World Economic Forum and the Canadian government. But again, she looks more fit here than when she's spending $7,000 a month on personal trainers, and she seems to have it together. So I don't know, maybe somebody can let me know in the comments what they think is causing the twitchiness. Is this a reaction to something, some kind of treatment, or is this an addiction to something? What's really appalling, and what they've announced, and what I want to get to before the budget. A lot of people who watch my shows, it says that my age demographic are people who are either approaching the retiree position or are retired. But for grandkids, for kids of your own, for anybody who's watching this video starting out, what the Canadian government announced last week in terms of mortgages, this is very appalling. This is very destructive upon what Canadians are doing with their money and what they're being offered. Because, of course, the Liberal government has extended with the banks that 30-year mortgages are now a thing. We've seen how this worked out in the United States when they did it. I don't know if they're still doing it in the United States, so don't quote me on that one. But 30-year mortgages essentially just make more money for the banks. And I'm going to give you an example. If you were to buy a home at today's rates at $500,000 and put down the base 5% in order to get in, that's roughly $25,000. $19,000, I believe, of that $25,000 goes towards your CMHC or Genworth homeowners insurance. So you're putting down a very small margin on your property. Now, if you were to take that over 25 years on a $500,000 home, you'll have paid roughly $300,000 in interest by the time that you're done paying off your mortgage, provided you haven't missed any payments, taken any deferrals. if you buy a $500,000 home on a 30-year mortgage, you're still putting that initial payment down to Genworth CMHC, but you're also being told that, hey, it reduces your payments by roughly $200 to $250 a month on a $500,000 home. The problem there being is that by the time you're done paying off that home over 30 years, you've paid a total of almost $900,000 for that house. In fact, that's almost double that you've paid for your home. You could have bought 2 houses in the 30 years that you're paying off. So really, the only people getting rich here are the banks. Now, the audio in this video is extremely quiet, but thankfully there are subtitles. So I want
a Canada that works better.
A Canada that works better for you. I know right now too many younger Canadians, you can have a good job, you can work really hard, but the rent is too high and it seems impossible to buy your own home. We've set up the First Home Savings Account, and now 750,000 Canadians have put money into their accounts to save up for their first home. We made it possible for you to withdraw up to $60,000, from your RRSPs and use that space in the RSP to save up for your first down payment. Now, one thing I want to interject before we continue with that, you're taking out of your retirement savings plan, which, to be completely honest, I don't feel that RSPs do enough in this day and age that they're even worthwhile of investing. But what home buyers don't realize, and one thing that Chrystia Freeland doesn't talk about here on the money side of things, is that you have 15 years after taking that out to put it back. So while you're saving your $250 a month on your 30-year mortgage, you have to give that money back to the government over 15 years. So really, you're not saving anything. That's the problem. In fact, you're probably spending more at that point based on how much you're plugging back into your RSPs. And people might say, well, Fringe, that's going into my future investment. Not when you're breaking your back and paying almost double for your home when you're done over your 30 years. In fact, you'll probably never own your home. If you're buying in your 40s or your late 30s, what are the chances that you're going to even be able to retire? By the time you're done paying off your mortgage, you're going to be in your 70s. You get a couple years mortgage free and then you kick the can down the road. This is the problem. Oh, look how great the government is. We're doing you all these favors. Just spend what your savings are to get a house. It says if you're a first-time home buyer and you are buying a new build, like a condo, like a townhouse, we are extending the mortgage amortization period to 30 years. That will make the monthly payments more affordable, make it more possible for you to buy your first home of your own. Again, it's only changing your income or your due balance on a $500,000 home by about $250 a month for an extra 5 years. Yet the interest doubles. Because we need to unlock the promise of Canada for you, our younger generation. This is disgusting what the government is doing. Instead of labeling their own faults, instead of saying, here's the mistakes we've made, here's the problems we've caused, we're going to cut back our spending, we're going to stop with the Prime Minister taking $2 million trips over 5 days to the Pacific. Nope. We're going to extend 30-year mortgages. And before people say, well, $500,000 is still affordable for a house, let's take a look at Chrystia Freeland's riding. Chrystia Freeland's Hood row house, the one in the middle, 2 bedrooms, 14 by 120 lot, updated with an IKEA vibe, across from the CP Main heavy freight rail line, sold in hours, $1.8 million. That's disgusting. Now, keep in mind, when you're looking at this middle house, the white is all you're getting. The white and this doorway. $1.8 million. Oh, but don't worry, you can pay that off over 30 years. This is the start of the end of times for Canadians, for younger Canadians. The only way younger people are going to be able to afford to buy houses in this day and age is if they're given to them or inherited from their parents. I really don't understand how the Canadian government expects to be able to allow Canadians to buy homes. But in fact, I'm answering my own question because, ladies and gentlemen, it's all part of their plan. It is part of the plan. Let me know your comments down below, what you think of Chrystia Freeland, what you think the budget's going to entail. What do you think about these 30-year mortgages? And more importantly, where is she getting that twitchiness from? I really want to hear from you guys, what you have to say. Leave me your comments down below. Again, if you're enjoying this video, if you've enjoyed this content, it's your first time here, I hope this video's earned your subscription. Make sure as you're clicking that button, click your bell for notifications. Join us again every Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central here on the channel for Friday Night Fringe, where we're going to go over things like this, and we're also going to talk about everything happening in the world of politics. I look forward to seeing you guys there each and every week, and I can't wait to talk to you this Friday. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and enjoyed this video. I'll catch you on the next one.